Hi everyone.
Hi everyone.
Joining us today is Lydia Zogby, a PhD student of mechanical engineering at Johns Hopkins University with a specialization in medical robotics.
Joining us today is Dr. Julia Gonski, a postdoctoral research scientist at Columbia University, who was featured in the Forbes 30 Under 30 list.
Joining us today is Dr. Pramod Karngonekar, Vice Chancellor of Research and Professor at the University of Irvine's Department of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science.
When I first started my undergrad, I actually did chemical engineering. For whatever reason, I was fascinated by the oil industry. And after a year, I did not particularly enjoy that. It just didn't align with my interests too much. And honestly, I guess a lot of people would be, I like physics, I like math. Mechanical engineering was probably the closest field that I would be interested in. And that's how I got into it. And then I got a final year project in my undergrad that's related to robotics. And I fell in love with it. I figured that this is what I want to do in my higher education. And that's what I stuck with.
If I look back on my journey, it was a pretty narrow and straight path, right? I was in India. We were very poor. My parents we were really lower middle class. We had no money. Like I told you, I grew up in a house with no water and no electricity. So survival was a big thing for us. And I was good at math. I was good at physics. So I thought of actually doing physics as my professional subject. But I realized that in India, at least at the time, to get a job in physics was practically not easy. So engineering was the next closest thing that one could do, where you could keep your interest in physics and mathematics, and yet you would have a reasonable professional life. So I think that's how I picked engineering.
I've been interested in particle physics for a really long time. I probably got first interested in this field when I was around your guys' age, sophomore year of high school. And I was in a AP chemistry class at the time. And of course, in chemistry, they tell you that the fundamental particles are protons, neutrons, and electrons. From the standpoint of chemistry, that's true. But I happened to be reading some public science book. It was Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking or something like that, that said that protons are actually made of quarks. And I thought, well, that's weird, because in a science class I was told that protons were indivisible. And I think just that realization that there's so much more to the universe than maybe what you're even told in a high school physics class really got me wondering, how far down does this go? How much more complex is this story becoming? And I pretty much committed to learning particle physics right then. I started in LHC research when I was a freshman in college. Rutgers has a really excellent group that's involved with LHC research, and I've never looked back.